Hey there, dolls. I'm your host, Chantel Do Tell, and if this is your first time here, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. Before we get started, I want to encourage you, if you like content like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe and bell notification so you know when I upload new videos. I want to give my first impressions of the new limited edition dolls from Shop Disney Store, whatever you want to call it, of Beauty and the Beast Platinum Series and the designer collection of Pocahontas. So let's go. First up with Pocahontas, immediately when I saw her design, they only had like her torso up to like the charms hanging from her belt, and I actually really loved what I saw. So when we finally got to see her full body, I was very, very impressed. Javier Garcia is the designer of this doll, and the inspiration, I saw immediately what he was inspired by, because Pocahontas is beautifully animated and colored, and Colors of the Wind is one of my favorite Disney songs, and I just love the color story with it. It's very watercolor, very expressionist. It's really beautiful. So yeah, and you also saw I was about to call her Moana. Moana was added to the list. Next up is Ariel, Mulan, Tiana, Aurora, Merida, who I'm very excited for. And of course, like I said, they just added Moana. So some of my favorite parts of this doll, of course, is the charms. I love Miko and Flit, and I can't really see the one behind it. I like what they did with her necklace. To me, I feel like maybe it's another piece that she had inherited from one of her family members, and she put it onto this design, still having her, her mother's necklace intact. I also really love her gown. You get to see the leathering detail, and I love the sheer cape. The only thing that first popped out to me was like the Elizabethan type collar did not make a lot of sense to me. I know that they have it to be feathers, but it looks like something from. It looks honestly like what the Evil Queen wore from the designer Masquerade collection. But yeah, those are my first impression. Her face is gorgeous. I love the braid. I saw someone comment in one of the Facebook groups that I was in. It's very like Katniss Everdeen, and I'm like, I could see that. Probably just because of the braid, most of all. But I really can't wait to see like in-person pictures and, see her in person for myself, because I will be picking her up. I love Pocahontas is one of my favorite Disney movies, and here I just kind of put together some of the images that first came to mind when I saw her cape and the bodice area. You can see that they are using more of an iridescent reflective fabric, and I think that's a really cool choice, and I would love to see it. Just like if you saw my Jasmine review, in the sunlight, that fabric was really beautiful. So I am really looking forward to, like I said, seeing her in person. And her shoes, I don't know if they're heeled or whatever. That's another area that I would take. Listen, when it comes to this price point, I think of Integrity Toys. Integrity Toys does not put plastic, as far as I know, because I don't have a lot, but they don't put plastic shoes on the dolls. That is where it's like, okay, they could have been, I hope that they're not heeled moccasins. I've never seen that before. And, but I also would have loved to have seen maybe a boots or something. I should have prefaced this by saying I'm not going to get into, this is why I waited to like fully get to sit on my thoughts and, see what I wanted to say about it. I don't want to come on here and contribute. It's one thing to have critique, like I said about the collar. Oh, I don't understand it, but when I see it in person, it might work. But I do not want to come on here and bash anyone's design, because I know that whether we like it or not, whoever put the designer that put this together, it was a labor of love. So, and I'm not going to get into I'm not native, so I'm not going to get into critiquing how I think a native person should dress, and I hope that you would ask yourself that question. If you're not native, if you're not from that community, what are you thinking of, like a stereotype that you see, or images that are shown to you that you think that in your head that's native and that's what reflects native culture? Because I would really encourage you to go ahead and erase that. And I say that as a person from the queer community, and I'm also non binary. I don't care when other people have input who are not from that community. It's because you're speaking from a place of, most of the time, if you haven't like educated yourself, you're speaking from a place of ignorance on it. So, with that said, I did not realize, you know, how controversial Pocahontas was until I became an adult. Pocahontas came out when I was a child. It's here, and I think that Disney is doing a great job with not putting her in outfits that could deem, like I saw someone in the comments say that they wanted her in like something reflective of that yellow gown from the second film, and I'm like, oh my, I just cringed to myself. I'm like, first off, that is a gown that would represent colonialism. Disney is way smarter than to put her in that sort of gown. There would be so much outrage, and deservedly so, because that second Pocahontas movie, while it's not good, it was really sad. You know, you just saw her being pushed into the erasure of her Native American culture. And it was a really sad film. And John Smith, he ain't shit. Just like, just like Mel Gibson, who voices him. And I hate that he still gets cast in Hollywood productions because he's a garbage. So I'm going to step off that soapbox and say I will be purchasing Pocahontas. I love the design. And let's get into Beauty and the Beast. Okay, Beauty and the Beast. This was another one. It's like people either really loved it or they hated it. I'm going to say it's not my favorite. And I could see why they did not go with this design. While Beauty and the Beast does take from that Rococo era, this is very Rococo. The colors, just the pomp and circumstance, just it's over the top. But it does not fit in with the feel of Beauty and the Beast, what we have all known for 30 years. Um, with that said, it kind of reminds me of a float. like you know, like a probably like a float that you would see in maybe like a city or something, like not a, you know, not like a national parade, but like just the bob of it reminds me of like a float or a cake with the rosettes. Overall, the here, let's get into my screen recording where I could zoom in. With the Beast, I do like the detailing. I do like his cape. And I don't mind the colors. I don't mind the ruffled portion of his, what would you call that, like a handkerchief area. I like the chain detailing. I don't understand, in the winter one, he looks more, his face looks more proportioned to his body, and I'm just not seeing that here. And then with, you get like the pearl design. I do like her sleeves. It's very reminiscent. Honestly, I could see Ariel in something like this, as far as the top. The bottom was a choice. And the shoes, I wish we could see more of the shoes because they actually look very pretty. I hope that that's not plastic ribbon. I would love to see actually a ribbon detail. And okay, here's where my beef is going to come with Belle. Belle wears some really pretty gowns in the film, and we would love to get, you know, her in her blue gown. Her library gown. The library gown was like what was rumored, and of course, my favorite is the winter gown, and we'll get into that in the next. It's in one of the next slides. I'm tired of seeing her in her yellow gown because aside from the platinum edition, they never do it correctly. Like the designer collection that came with her and Beast, I hated it. I hated it because what makes that yellow gown so beautiful to me is how much it poops out. It's very much, it reminds me of like Gone with the Wind, Scarlett O'Hara coming down. It's a moment. It's a dramatic moment. Like when she comes out at the top of that staircase, it's breathtaking, you know, and it just did not translate to the doll. Tonner Dolls has a beautiful yellow gown for Belle as well. So, what was I was also going to bring up the designer with Gaston. I thought that they did the blue gown, her blue peasant outfit, wonderfully in that. I would love to see. To me, some of the heirloom dolls that are the most beautiful are the Rags collection. You have Snow White, Briar Rose, and Cinderella. Cinderella, who I don't have, who's my favorite. but I digress. And honestly, Belle would look gorgeous in that, especially if they added it with, because sometimes Belle, when she's in that peasant gown, because she's in the elements, she has that cloak, to keep her warm. That would be gorgeous, similar to like what they did with the winter doll. Oh, that's a missed opportunity if they do not put Belle in that rag series of the dolls. And I brought up the live action images of Beauty and the Beast because I would have loved to have seen something, not a direct copy, but the finale gown that Emma Watson wears in Beauty and the Beast is gorgeous. I would have loved to have seen something like that because while it's poofs out and stuff, it doesn't look uncomfortable to wear. Like the one that the Beauty and the Beast, the 30th anniversary dolls that are coming out, it's just the puff sleeves and then the bodice area. They don't look comfortable. And I remember Emma Watson having input into the ensembles, the costumes that they made for this film for that reason. And here we get to the winter collection. Now, this is where I can see where people are very opinionated. And I've seen people on Instagram doing polls like, are you going to buy this set or that set? And it was like 70% of the people said they were not going to buy this. We'll see once it comes out because people say one thing and they do another. But I think that with this price point, and I think that with people really wanting to see Belle in one of her outfits that you actually see on screen, I do think that plays into it. And also, if you bought both of these dolls, you didn't pay anywhere near. I think the previous ones are like $750. I do not have any because even when Ariel came out, Ariel and Eric, that would have been the set that I got. I did not love it. I didn't love it. And so to me, if you have these two, it's a far superior set. That's only my own opinion. They're gorgeously done. And I took a picture of my Belle. See, the thing is, I'm tall, but I'm not tall enough to take video, and I just moved the ladder out of my office because those dolls are on my top shelf. I have a top shelf that goes. My shelving is from Container Store, the Alpha collection, and it goes ceiling almost to floor, not quite to floor, but all of those dolls are on my top parts of the shelf, so I had to just pull her down and take a picture, and here it is. Why would they change the face? I remember when because I went in store and I pre-ordered Belle and Beast because I think they were pre-orders at the time, and Gaston was the one that I did not get. But I remember when I first saw Belle, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best. Like, this is the perfect Belle face. Just like I think that the last two Ariel limited edition dolls that came out and her classic doll, they are the Ariel face. Like, just stay with that. Don't change it. This is the first thing that popped out to me when I saw the images for the Platinum series. I'm like, what did they do to her face? I don't know if it's the angle of the picture, but the face on Winter Belle is beautiful and it's perfect. It looks like Belle. So that brings me to the end of my video. Well, almost. I just want to say good luck to everyone who plans on getting them, and let me know in the comments if you plan on getting them, or let me know your thoughts on them if you don't. Either way, I love hearing from people. I love responding to everybody. That is the reason I love making these types of videos, because I like to give my opinions as somebody. I consider myself to be not the expert of all experts, but I've been collecting these since the beginning when they came out. So I just feel like I have a lot of knowledge and stories to tell and just my input. Oh, and I meant to say, most importantly, what I think that is also kind of a downside to that people are feeling over the Beauty and the Beast dolls that have been released. I have seen in the Facebook group and stuff that I'm in, I've seen the excitement and just the wonderment of what the anticipation of what Belle doll is going to be really released. And then, like I said, it was rumored that it was going to be Library Belle. So I think that it was just a big disappointment. I do feel really bad for people who love Beauty and the Beast and it's their primary collection, because so far the merchandise being released is not stunning. It's just not stunning. It doesn't get the feels from me, and I think that's the case for a lot of people. Especially for some people that have not started collecting until recently and they've missed out on all the previous dolls. The only thing I can think of is that we cross our fingers and hope that the Belle that comes out, I hope that they're not using this face. I hope that this is not the ongoing face. The Belle that comes out is, for the designer collection, is just fabulous. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for that. And I would also suggest, maybe if you can swing it, I would put this money that this set is going to cost and go ahead and get yourself the Winter Belle and Beast collection. You will not regret it. I can guarantee it. So anyway, if you've made it this far, thank you so much. And I'm going to end this video like I end all of my videos. When you paint, let me get on this. Actually, when you paint with all the colors of the rainbow. Is very much inspired. Like I said, Colors of the Wind is one of my favorite films. And I'm a color person. So I always think I'm drawn into color. So I always think of just the feeling and the movement of the colors in that film. So yeah, when you paint with all the colors of the rainbow, and as always, have fun doing it. And darlings, be your unapologetic, authentic self, okay? So until next time, stay safe, and we'll talk soon.